Hey Glam Fam, welcome to today's video. We're testing out the brand new Laura Mercier Real Flawless Foundation. We're gonna see how this wears on my over 40 skin. We're gonna do a wear test, dip into the ingredients, and just go over all that fun stuff.
You're still my favorite, queen of the night, my friend. Let's drive off again. Let's drive off again.
All right, my beautiful Glam sisters, let's jump right into it. So I have the brand new Laura Mercier Real Flawless Weightless Foundation. So I did go with 1W1 Cashmere and look the closest to my skin tone when I was looking at the model and this packaging. Can we just talk about how pretty this is? It has like a frosted glass with the gold trimming, the Laura Mercier logo. It's a good size. I love the white cap. It's so aesthetically pleasing. It is a beautiful, beautiful packaging. I have to give it to them on that. But I also did get a sample of 2N1. They didn't have all of them to sample. I mean, literally, those would be the closest 3 that they had out to sample. All the rest were really dark shades. I wanted to show you those just in case you're a little bit lighter, a little bit darker than me, that you can see that. But 2N1 looks like it would be a really good match. Cashew Light Neutral is that shade. Now let's roll over into the swatch for 1W1, and that's Cashmere, and that's fair with warm undertones. I think that's gonna work too. We'll see. We'll just stick with the 1W1 today since I have the full version of it, and if it's looking too light, then I'll add in some of the 2N1. I loved the other Laura Mercier foundations, the previous versions. I loved the matte one. I just couldn't find my perfect shade, and it was quite heavy. That was the only thing. I mean, back then when I really wanted full coverage because my skin wasn't as great, and I just would pack on the makeup, I loved it because it gave you that full coverage, where I think this one's going to be kind of in between her radiant version and her matte version from what I've gathered. So it's about 8:15 a.m. right now, so we're going to get a good wear test in today. So let's just quickly touch on those details. This is a weightless foundation that blurs the line between makeup and skin with a medium buildable coverage and a natural finish. It's waterproof wear for up to 12 hours of fade-proof wear. This hydrating foundation delivers cake-free, color-true wear that blurs the look of imperfections, pores, and fine lines while improving skin tone, texture immediately and over time. The formula is dermatologist-tested, non-comedogenic, and suitable for all skin types, even sensitive. Just because something claims to be non-comedogenic, non-acnegenic, oil-free, dermatology-tested, or dermatology-approved does not mean that the product is free of comedogenic ingredients. These terms are not really regulated, and a company can use them however they want, just so you guys know that. So you will find a lot of non-comedogenic products that actually contain some of the worst offenders on a list of ingredients, and you'll see that in this ingredient list, and I'll go over that in just a second. This product is also vegan, cruelty-free, gluten-free, and comes in recyclable packaging. Its highlighted ingredients are high-resolution pigments and 3D smooth printing powders that give a perfecting cake-free coverage and optimal color laydown, blurring bamboo silk powders and hydrolipid matrix. It also has camellia seed, vitamin E, and cacao extract. Now let's touch on the full ingredient list, and the first ingredient is isododecane. Isododecane, it produces a very rich and creamy texture that is lightweight and non-greasy. Furthermore, it is not a silicone, and neither is it water soluble. The second ingredient is isodecal, and I'll let you guys pronounce that next word. It's a synthetic emollient. It has a silicone-like aesthetic, and it is used for a wide variety of cosmetics. The next ingredient is hydrogenated polybutane, which is also known as liquid isoparaffin. That's the Japanese name of it. It's basically a synthetic liquid oil that can replace mineral oil or silicone type oils in cosmetic formulas. Now, if you don't have acne prone skin, cacao butter is thought to improve skin health by keeping it nice and hydrated and improving skin elasticity. It contains many antioxidants and polyphenols, which can help reduce inflammation and protect the skin from UV damage. So there is a lot of benefits to cocoa butter. You just want to be careful because it is comedogenic. And it's probably best to avoid an ingredient like that if you're really struggling with active acne breakouts. So we are going to use my primer from Dermatology, my #1 primer. And with all Dermatology products, you can use code Kristi20 and get 20% off. And let me know, I know a few of you bought this, so let me know in the comment section how you are liking it. I am gonna start off with my Smashbox Primerizer. This is the Photo Finish Primerizer just right here because the Dermatology is more of a smoothing primer and I just want a little bit of hydration. Right here, I tend to get very dry. So I'm just gonna put a little bit right here. I'm gonna do a little bit right here too, just where I'm not putting the pore filling type primer from Dermatology. Just gonna put it right here. And I don't always do that. It just depends on the foundation I'm using. Like Iconic London, I wouldn't do this. But KVD, I noticed even it glides on even better when I do it that way. This is a really good moisturizing primer. And then I like smoothing primers, so we're gonna go again with the Dermatology #1 primer. Love this stuff. And I'm just going to put this onto my finger, and then I'm gonna use my skincare brush to smooth. I just kind of go wherever. Typically where my pores are, but sometimes I just want some smoothing on my fine lines, so I'll put it there. I have a little texture there. My breakout is finally healing from the time of the month. And this is just a Real Techniques brush. I love this one. Has like a little spatula on the other side as well if you want to scoop out like your moisturizers and stuff. All right, so I'm not gonna do my Kiehl's Ultra Facial. I don't think I need it today. I think my skin feels pretty hydrated. All right, so let's try this out. Again, this is 1W1 Cashmere. As always, I film everything. All my product shots are always done just on my iPhone camera, no fancy lights, in natural daylight. And then I'll show you what the swatch looks like outdoors, just so you guys can get a good perspective of what it looks like. Let's get into this. I'm gonna just do one small pump right here. Like that. We'll start off with one. That didn't give me very much though. Well, we'll just start off with one and see what that looks like. That's what it looks like in studio. So it has a nice consistency. It's not running down my thing, so it looks like it's gonna be a nice perfect consistency, but it feels extremely lightweight. All right, let's just start on this side. So that looks a little light, but we're gonna blend it in. I'm gonna use my BK Beauty 101. I'm gonna take the remainder off the back of my hand. This feels like a very spreadable, it feels like butter, like literally it feels like butter. It's crazy, it's smoothing out really nicely onto the skin. It's probably those ingredients, since those ingredients are like the first 3 ingredients in the product and they're all like smoothing agents. Wow, that's really beautiful. Do you see how it looked light, but it actually blends right into my skin? Like literally, it's almost a perfect match. And it does oxidize, so just keep that in mind. The initial may look a little light when I put it on my skin. Let's just put 2N1 on this side. This is a neutral undertone. That was a warm undertone. Typically I'm neutral. So this is the sample that they gave me. So I don't know if you guys can see it in the studio. There we go. And then I'll show you an up close shot of this sample in natural daylight. Let's do this one on my left side. I'm just gonna put that right there and just kind of spread it around with my finger first. Oh, that matches perfectly. I might be 2N1. I don't know. I would definitely be 2N1 in the winter, so yeah, I think 2N1 is a better match, but 1W still matched me, so I can really do either one. Now I'm just gonna go on this side and just spread it around. This is 2N1. This almost never happens with Laura Mercier where I find like a really good match, so this is awesome. They did much better on their undertones this time. So this is 2N1, and then this is 1W1. I'm gonna build this one up right here, and I'm taking the 2N1 just because I want to add some of that color in there. Just building it up where I have discolorization to see if it cakes at all during the day. Yeah, 2N1 is definitely my shade. So it just doesn't feel, it's breaking apart for some reason. Let me pull you guys in close, and then I will go outside of my studio and do some shots. I don't know if you guys can see it. I can see it in my magnifying mirror. So from a distance, you wouldn't be able to see it, but up close, you can kind of see it. So it's just not like, it's not wanting to grip to my skin. So maybe a more gripping primer would be better with this type of product because it is so smooth. You don't really need a smoothing primer. So I think like, where is this? My e.l.f. or my Milk. This is an affordable option to the Milk Hydro Grip. Either one of them work. This one has niacinamide in it, which is nice. I'm not sure if the Milk one does. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. It's just looking really funky here. I'm gonna pull you guys in. So that footage is standing by my window, outside of my studio lights in bad lighting, but with natural daylight coming through the window. I stood right by the window and I wanted you guys to see kind of how it looks in real life because my studio lights make everything look amazing. But even in my studio lights, I can see, I don't know if you guys can tell, I can't really see it on my monitor as much, but in my 10 times magnifying mirror right here, I can see it breaking apart right there already. So this is not a foundation you would just walk away and not set down. I would definitely set this down. The problem is the formula is so incredibly soft. So what I'm gonna do, just to really test this and really give it a fair shot, I'm actually gonna take it off with my, I know, don't come for me in the comments, I like my makeup wipes. I'm gonna wipe this off and then we're going to use this primer and see if that makes a difference. So I'll be right back. All right, round two. Let's try this again. We're gonna stick with 2-in-1 because it is a better match. I'm gonna go back to my Smashbox hydrating primer like we just did a second ago. And I'm just gonna go back and kind of put that in there. I'm gonna moisturize my skin a little just because all over, because I just took it off and I just wanna make sure that we have some moisture back in my skin. I'm gonna let that dry down a little bit. And then I'm gonna go in with the e.l.f. gripping primer. I never even released this video from a long time ago and I tested it out in that video, but here it is. I talked about it in another video, but I didn't show you guys applying it. It's a little dirty right now. This is the Power Grip Primer with 4% niacinamide. So I like that it has niacinamide in it, and I like it just as much as I like the Milk makeup one. So I think it's a good dupe. I don't think the first one was as good as this one, the original version of this e.l.f. one wasn't as good. This one is a little bit more softening, but it has that gripping technology. So that has tack to it, as you can tell right there. So perfect. All right, now let's try this again, round two. This is again 2-in-1. I'm gonna pour this out. I may not have enough, so we may have to dip into that other one, but we'll see. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough to take that picture for you guys. So that's all I got out of it, but we're gonna make that work today. Now let's see if that grips to it. And how I'm gonna do it this time, since I know the formula now, is I'm gonna just sticking to the brush. So I'm just going to press that in and see if that helps. I won't be able to tell until I look up close. Yeah, this 2-in-1 is just a much better match. It's my favorite foundations to date. Right now, we'll go over those in a second. I can use those with any primer. And to me, that's a good formula because that means it's not fussy. I don't want fuss. And a lot of people these days, whether you're a mom, grandma, whatever you are, just whatever, it doesn't even necessarily mean that you're a mom or a grandma, but you have a life you want to attend to and not worry about makeup not going on good. So to me, that's what I look for. And if you're new here, at the end, I go over all the reasons why I always rate my products based off of my preferences and my skin type, and I tell you why. And I think that's really important. So if you don't always watch to the end, watch till the end, because first of all, you're gonna get the wear test, and second of all, I'm gonna tell you why it's good or not good. And I'm always gonna be honest with you guys. With round two, I'll say it's very softening, like ultra softening, but I just don't, I don't know. I just don't know if this would be a foundation I would go to. It's just, it's taken a lot of effort and a lot of work to really press it into the skin. All right, let's take a look at it up close. So that's side by side with no makeup on, with the foundation not set down, no concealer. So we'll just kind of have to gauge and see how it's going to wear with the rest of the products. I'm interested now. So I'm going to show you guys what it looks like outside of my studio, again, up against the window in natural daylight. I must say it looks much better now, and this primer definitely helped it out. So at least this is an affordable primer. I would not go with a smoothing primer just because it's just too much emollients, too much dimethicones going on. So this is just definitely one you're gonna wanna use any type of gripping primer you have. I mean, my two suggestions would be this one or the Milk Cosmetics Hydro Grip. So that's the only thing I would probably say to stick to, but it does look much better now. I wasn't gonna do this, but now I'm tempted to see what a concealer is gonna look like over this. So I am gonna go with one that I know has a little bit more gripping powder. So I'm gonna go in with my one size, just because I feel like it's just a little bit, it's going to grip to this foundation a little bit better. So I would stick to more of, you know, unless you have very dry under eyes, stick to something a little bit more mattifying. So this is the one size in Fair 4. This is one that you have to work quickly with too. And I like to do the one size with my sponge. I think I'll like this better once I set it down, so we'll see. It's playing well with the concealer though. There was no disruptions. All right, I'm gonna go in with my one size 2R. So you guys know, this is just the best under eye setting powder in my opinion. I'm gonna take my little Makeup Forever puff. So I wash this puff, just so you guys know, every time I use it. Or not every time, but when I've used it like a few times, I typically wash it. That's what 2R looks like. Set down this and then set the T-zone. Just love this color. I just did the Makeup Forever new HD Skin Powdered Foundation review. You guys can check that out. I do a side-by-side comparison between the previous version and the new version, and I really give you guys an in-depth tutorial on powdered foundation, just so you guys know. I'm just gonna go on the forehead, kind of set where I want things to be nice and bright. I'm just gonna go a little bit on the cheeks there, because this is a little bit more pigment in this, and then we're going to set it down with my Charlotte Tilbury, the rest of the face. So that all played well. It didn't disrupt with the powders, which is nice. Now I'm going to go in with my Charlotte Tilbury Medium 2, and I'm actually going to use my Makeup Forever puff. And this is just, like I said in the Makeup Forever video, this is just the best way to set down your foundations. I'm telling you guys, do a puff. I'm gonna take that again and just clean this. And these wash so nicely. So for $13, it's so worth it. Do you see that? Look at that. Magical. Look what that puff does. Wow. And the Charlotte Tilbury combined with it. I mean, seriously. I didn't want to do a powdered foundation because I want to give this foundation a fair shot. Just setting all around the perimeters just to make sure everything is nice and set. I don't have any extra powder. As you can tell, it's pretty much just faded away. I'm just pressing anything I have left over into the skin, making sure that, yeah, there's no tack to it. It feels pretty set down. So, all right, let's take a look at it up close. And we'll do the side-by-side comparison without makeup on with this foundation set down with powder now. Now let's take a look at it in natural daylight by the window. Again, just in bad lighting, but so you guys can really see what it's looking like. All right, you guys, that's as good as it's gonna get right now. So I am gonna go film a couple other videos. I will get some outdoor footage later on. It's a little overcast today, but at least you'll be able to see what it looks like outside once all my makeup is done. And then we'll come back at the end of the night and do a full all-day wear test, probably get a good 8 hours in, and give you my final thoughts and all of that. So I will see you guys in my midday check-in. Alright, Glam Fam, so I wanted to do a 4-hour check-in and give you kind of an outdoor perspective what it looks like. The color tone looks really good. 2-on-1 is my perfect match. So if you're a twinsy to me, this is our perfect shade. I want you guys to be able to see what it looks like outside and just kind of how it's wearing. I think for 4 hours, it's not bad. You can tell, like, you can't really see where it broke apart because those powders really help. So I hope you guys enjoy these little check-ins outside. Really gives you more of a what it's gonna look like in real life. So I will see you guys at the end of the night. All right, you guys, we're at the end of the night, but that is how it looked once I put on the rest of my makeup. I finished filming a couple videos. It was still looking pretty good, but I had it on for a good 4 hours by then. You guys saw the midday check-in, and now we're at the end of the night. It is 5 o'clock, so we had it on for about 8 hours, and I don't know, you guys. In that midday check-in, I was like, okay, it's kind of growing on me. But now as the night has come to an end and I didn't even reply at my lips or anything like that. I just want to get this off, you guys. This is just, it's breaking apart through here, all through here. I'll show you guys outside of my studio. I'll pull you in really close and show you kind of like in real life lighting, which is not great lighting, and just kind of how it looks. And I mean, my camera lights, I think, make it look a little bit better, the ring light and everything, but I don't know. I'm just not a fan of how it wore. And that was just 8 hours. As you can see right here in studio, you can see like redness because it's cold and my nose is all runny, but that redness that usually is pretty covered up with like my KVD foundation or even the L'Oreal True Match. I do think it is a very similar formula to the L'Oreal True Match, but for a fraction of the cost. I think this one wears better throughout the day. It's really soft. It glides on like butter, and I love that aspect of it, but it was almost so soft that it just didn't wear well. Kind of like the Makeup by Mario too. Same similar concept of that. But, sorry, I had it the wrong way, but it just didn't wear well. I think this one wears better. And this is, again, like a drugstore. You can check out my full review on this True Match foundation. So I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of it. So let's touch on my rating. I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 just because I don't think it wears that great for $49. I can't justify that cost. So it just, for me, not something I would just say run out and buy. I think it's pretty, but I think their other one lasted longer, even though it was more mattifying and more full coverage. I think it had better lasting power. Now, as far as everything I look for when I look for products, like smoothing and stuff like that, I think it smoothed over my pores, but I don't think it did anything spectacular for it. And then as far as the ingredients go, you guys, like I just don't like that they put a pore clogging ingredient and called it non-comedogenic. So that frustrated me a little. And just, it being a luxury brand, of course, we're expecting to pay $49. So I'm not going to dock it too much on that, but I just don't think it wore that great through, at an 8-hour point. Anything further than this is just probably going to further disintegrate. I didn't even give it 100% for application because it was finicky on the primers I had to use. So it is beautiful. It's just not lasting like I want it to, right? It's not giving me that wow factor. So I'm going to go over all of my top foundations. And right now, currently in number 1, it's going to be the KVD Good Apple Serum Foundation. I think this is a beautiful foundation that you can really build up into full coverage for that special day of your life or special occasion you go to. Whereas my next one would be the next one, you can't do it as much. You can't build it up into that full coverage. I think this one wears beautifully on mature skin as well. I love the packaging and I love the shade tone. So by far number 1, this would be this is almost tied to this one. This is the iconic London Super Smoothing Skin Tint Foundation. I absolutely love this foundation. This is my everyday foundation. If I decide to wear liquid, this is what I put on. Now you can build this up, which is nice, and you can make it for like a night out or something like that. Would I wear this on the most special day of my life, or if I was going to like a wedding or something like that? Probably not. I would gear more towards this one, but it is beautiful. And these two together, sometimes I mix those. I love it. So number 2, kind of tied first. Next one would be the Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. So this is shade 4. I have the big version, but they're darker shades. Unbelievably beautiful, tried and true. I've used it for years now, and I just really appreciate it. It's almost like the one in between coverage of these two, right? It's not full coverage and it's not light coverage. It's just that perfect skin-like coverage. It's gorgeous. And then I would say the L'Oreal True Match would be a good contender in there. That would probably be next, just because you can really, again, get a light coverage and a full coverage. And it is that buttery smooth feeling you get like this one, like I already mentioned. So this surprised me, and the price point, my goodness. And then to round it out, it would be my Il Makiage After Party. The shade 35 is my perfect shade. It glides on like butter, and it is like foolproof. It is like back in the days MAC body, that one that's like complete full coverage, or the Dior Backstage one, like that just gives you like full bulletproof coverage. This is not one you would use on an everyday situation. So I love this one though. Like if I was getting married or going to something really special, this would be the one I would use, just because it is that bulletproof coverage and it is really beautiful. I don't know though, because this one is pretty darn good. So that would be, you know, something before this, there was really nothing I would say compared to it as far as full coverage and wears nicely. And you can check out my full review on the Il Makiage, but it is so good. So those are my top current foundations. I cannot place that in there because I don't feel like it wore as a foundation. These I never have to worry about. Now, of course, everything is going to, I mean, I'm over 40. I'm almost 45 at the end of March. March 24th is my birthday, and I will be 45. So I have fine lines and I have texture. I have sensitive acne prone skin. So stuff is going to either irritate my face with ingredients, which I don't like. There's cocoa butter in there, but yeah, I mean, it's great for anti-aging. I don't know. I haven't used enough products with cocoa butter to know if it aggravates my skin type, but it's something to be conscious of, I guess you can say. It's not like coconut oil where I would just not use it. So if this wore beautifully, I would have kept this in the rotation because I do think it's beautiful, but it didn't. And it didn't go on as smooth as I would want it as far as it, you guys, it was finicky, right? I had to really watch out what primers. I don't want to have to worry about what primer to use. I want to use my Holy Grail primer and not have to worry about it. I can only use a gripping primer with this foundation. So that's another thing. With all of these other foundations, I don't have to worry. I can use any primer I have or try, and I just know those are going to go on beautifully and wear beautifully throughout the rest of the day. So comment below and let me know if you had your eye out on it. If you did, definitely try it, because like I said, you don't know until you try it. Take my ratings with a grain of salt. As always, that's just my preference, okay? So you never know until you try it. And I hope you guys do appreciate that. Let me know if this was something that was on your wish list. I did want to cover this because I know the Sephora sale is coming around the corner and people are going to have questions about it because it is a new foundation that just launched at Sephora, and maybe before the sale people want to try it out. So definitely wanted to get this review out there. You guys always know I'm going to be completely honest with you. If you're new here, I'd really love for you to hit that subscribe button, click the post notification bell, join us. We're here every week, and we just love for you to become part of our family. If you like videos like this, please give it a huge thumbs up when you guys hit the like button, and when you comment below. It really does help push my videos up through the algorithm, and I greatly appreciate it. I have all the affiliate links for all of the top foundations and this foundation in the description box, as well as everything I have on my face. Of course, when you guys utilize my links, it really does help support a small channel like mine. So thank you so much for doing that. You can follow me on all of my socials at Kristi Allure. Check out my merch, Glamorous Life Collections. I will be revamping that site, as I mentioned in a different video, and I have all new merch coming out. So I am so excited, you guys. I love you so much. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.
Never up, never down, never. Like a theme in a song, clever. Feeling high, feeling low at the same time. Feels so right, then I'm wrong, hoping I'll be fine. But I get up, I always do.